analyzing the opponents on the schedule, I've at least made the analysis, and it seems like you generally agree, that we can separate Clemson from everybody else. Then we've got this bucket of teams, North Carolina State, Pitt, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Louisville, on down the line, that are right in the same category. They beat each other on a weekly basis in the ACC. They are the 50th best team in the country collectively, something in that range. Miami continues to win all the games, but rarely do they look impressive in doing that, and they're beating most of those teams, just about every one of them, by one score. But in this latest effort against Virginia Tech, put the conditions of the roster that you just outlined, and there has to be some serious consideration given to the strength of the team in numbers and volume, and football being an attrition sport, of being able of that compromising the effort, and maybe us having a bit more leniency in our evaluation of the team in that particular game. So I'll start with that.
Yeah, I agree. You're missing multiple starters in multiple positions in the last 2 weeks. Like I said, 2 offensive linemen, a defensive lineman, and a linebacker starters alone last week. So yeah, I mean, it is a next man up mentality. It's just like, hey, whoever's here is here, and whoever's not is not. And then we're just kind of go forward with that. But it's like the thing from the North Carolina State game that everybody was kind of talking about, of like, hey, well, if you take away De'Aaron King's rushing numbers, ... It's like, you can do that math, but like the point of fact is De'Aaron King was on the field. He had those rushing numbers. So it's not something that we can ignore. In the inverse here, you can evaluate the game and the team based upon who was there. And I mean, yeah, that's a thing to be done, but you cannot overlook the elephant in the room, or the elephant's not in the room, and just say, hey, like, we're missing 1 out of every 5 scholarship players or more, depending on the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's, it's a factor. And it simply is. I obviously, in the good, the bad, and the ugly, I have made the decision to evaluate who plays, and then maybe write some narrative about, the fact of who's not playing. But it has to be part of the consideration. It just does. And, I just think that the 2017 team and this team, they're similar in that, you basically try to take away the run and then make the quarterback beat you. We have a better quarterback this year. So when tasked with, okay, you have to hit these vertical throws, Louisville, hit them. Virginia, hit them. Virginia Tech, hit them. When the rubber met the road in 2017, Malik Rozier was not able to do that. So are there similarities? Yes. I think that the 2017 defense overall was better. I think that this 2020 defense is able to step up and have the performance to the level that you want it to be, especially in the fourth quarters, because this is a fourth quarter team. This is another fourth quarter domination on defense. That 2017 team was more consistent in their domination on defense. But yeah, I think that if you, increase the offense a little bit this year and decrease the defense, I think that's how it equals out. So are there similarities? Yeah, because you're still going to compete against Miami the same way. Press man coverage, crash to the run, hit some vertical throws. If you hit them, cool, you win. If you don't, it's 2017 Pittsburgh, and they went the 10-0 undefeated season, because Pittsburgh is not going to change. They have not changed. They did the same thing this year that they did last year when we had KJ Osborne step out of a tackle and win the game on a slant. They did the same thing in 2018, 2017. They do the same things. It's just we were more successful on the other side this year. So, that little bit of a difference, I think, is the difference.
I'm getting myself reacquainted with the 2017 team, which I remember all these games, but I could have recited the last 3 to 4 easily. But in terms of the order of the games, Florida State was a very talented team coming off a very successful run through 2016. That particular team only went 7-6. They had the DeAndre Francois injury in game 1. And that, of course, was a 24-20 win, your first in this string of 4 consecutive against the Seminoles. So that was a tight win. They came down to the wire. The Georgia Tech 4th down. Who was it along the sideline that caught the 4th down play, the one-handed tip?
It was Georgia Tech. It was on his back. The legend himself from the Florida State game, Darrell Langham, back-to-back weeks.
Oh, that's right, back-to-back. So there was that. There was Syracuse, a team that was really scrappy, came down to Hard Rock. That was a great game, 27-19. That was close. North Carolina was awful. And 2017, yeah, they weren't that awful. Anyway, but they were pretty bad.
That was the game that we were trailing at the half.
Yes.
And had to dial up that double move on the first play of the second half. And luckily, Jeff Thomas or Malik Rozier hit Jeff Thomas. But that was a game against a bad, 2017 North Carolina team, like you said. And then, boom, you hit that. And then all of a sudden things start rolling. But you do what the game plan was for a half, and Miami's losing that game. And like, okay, did he make the play there, the throw? Yes, but luck ran out.
Then they put it together for 2 consecutive weeks against Virginia Tech and Notre Dame.
Yes, the pinnacle, the Saturday night primetime games. Both of those games are great. You have Travis Homer getting loose early against Virginia Tech, and then just the sheer domination and destruction on November the 11th on Veterans Day against Notre Dame that year. Yeah.
I've got to think that game, depending on how this season concludes, that game is the high watermark for this program going back how far?
Yeah, no, it is. We have not eclipsed that. That was it. I mean, it sounds crazy to say now. I get that. But in that moment, on that week in 2017, Miami had as good an argument as any team in the country to be number 1. Honestly and truly, because you had a top 5-10 ranked Notre Dame team who came in. You blow the doors off of them. Alabama, what they were doing and everything. I think they'd had another bye week as compared to us. They hadn't played somebody of the caliber of Notre Dame on the other side of their schedule, even though some of the other teams obviously maybe were a little bit better than some of the other teams that Miami played, but legitimately had a claim to be the number 1 team in America that week following that game. You flipped Jaron Williams that week from Kentucky. It was an electric atmosphere. It was on-campus game day for the first time ever, because every other game day had been at the Orange Bowl or at Hard Rock Stadium. Actually, no, it hadn't even been at Hard Rock Stadium. It had all been at the Orange Bowl previously. But, you go there. You got Drake doing the music video. He's up at the Shalala Center in the cutout up top. You got Brett. I mean, everything with that, you're overlooking the lake. You got the new student center, the new rat. You got the new music library in the background with the all glass windows, the whole thing. You can see my old dorm across Lake Osceola there. You got Eaton, the residential college. You got the brand new UC patio that they done redid. You got the Olympic pool in the back. They're doing swimming and diving practice off the back. People over there, the students are just hanging out because why? I know people. It's a top 50 institution, and I love my alma mater and everything, and it's a wonderful degree, but it's still suntan you. Why? Because we live where you vacation. So they're still out there vacationing during regular, listen, it was everything. It was everything. That was, it would take me a while to think of a week in comparison, and it had to almost been when I was in undergrad. So you're talking 2003. You know what I mean? Maybe 2002. It had been like that. But that's what that week was. And that's why it was so impressive, because it felt so cathartic. It felt like Hard Rock Stadium felt like the old Orange Bowl. That 2000 Miami, Florida State, the first game that I ever went to between those rivals. 2003 against Florida, when I was all the way in the next to the last section in the student section underneath the overhang, and you saw it doing this up top, and I'm looking at that thing like, I don't know if this structure is going to hold, because the opening kickoff, Devin Hester, just said on Wednesday, because I had friends on the team and everything, he said, look, we get the ball, coach, get the ball, open the kickoff, I'm taking it back. Okay, Devin. He's like, no. We win the coin toss, take the ball because I'm going to the crib. So you already heard this around campus. Devin talking about, hey, don't let them kick to me. I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back. I'm taking it back. And then you see him taking it back. Like, I don't know that there's another time in the last 14, 15 years that compares to that game against Notre Dame. That's what it was. That's how incredible it was. And then it all came crashing down. Things fell apart right after that. And I mean, look, we've won some games. Like, I'm not saying that we haven't, but that was different. That felt like Miami. You know, it felt like the U. It felt like getting towards being back. And then the Pittsburgh game happened. And, well, to quote Drake again, nothing was the same.